One jar, 3 days, zero soil, more protein than that overpriced Greek yogurt in your refrigerator. Ancient Chinese physicians prescribed this food 5,000 years ago. Korean grandmothers serve it for breakfast. Captain Cook fed it to sailors to stop them dying at sea. It solved scurvy before modern medicine existed. Yet walk into any Western supermarket and you will find entire aisles devoted to protein powders, Greek yogurt stacked 3 shelves high, and meat cases stretching the length of the building. Meanwhile, the most efficient protein source humans have ever discovered sits forgotten in the bulk section, if it appears at all. 44% of Western consumers believe this food is dangerous. Only 29% understand what it actually contains. 2 industries benefit from this ignorance. One sells you expensive dairy, the other sells you seeds that never leave the bag. By the end of this video, you will know the exact 3-day method that turns any mason jar into a protein factory your body can actually absorb. But first, you need to understand why the healthiest food you have never grown was hidden from you in plain sight. 5,000 years ago, ancient Chinese physicians were already prescribing sprouted seeds to cure disorders their patients could not name. They understood something Western medicine would take millennia to measure. In India, Ayurvedic healers classified sprouts as sattvic food, pure, life-giving, the highest category of nourishment a human could consume. Korean families built entire culinary traditions around kongnamul, soybean sprouts served at breakfast tables for generations. No one questioned the practice. No one needed a study. Then European sailors started dying. Scurvy killed more men than combat, and storms combined. Ships left port with full crews and returned with half. Captain James Cook changed everything between 1772 and 1775. His sailors ate limes, lemons, and varieties of sprouts throughout their voyages. The result solved what naval commanders called the mariner's greatest casualty problem. Sprouts delivered vitamin C that dry rations could never provide. 3 civilizations on 3 continents discovered the same truth independently. Protein and vitamins could grow anywhere humans carried seeds and water. No farmland required, no months of waiting, no complicated supply chains. Then Western agriculture industrialized. Suddenly protein became something you purchased, something processed, something controlled. But the science was about to catch up with what grandmother's hands already knew. Here is the number that breaks the entire narrative. Plain Greek yogurt contains 9 to 10 grams of protein per 100 grams. The dairy industry spent decades convincing you this was impressive. Raw soybean sprouts contain 13.1 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is 30% more protein than the product stacked 3 shelves high in every refrigerated section in America. Lentil sprouts deliver nearly 9 grams. Chickpea sprouts come close behind. You have been paying $6 to $8 per container for something seeds costing pennies outperform. But protein content alone does not tell the full story. Your body must actually absorb what you eat. Nutritional scientists measure this using something called the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score. A perfect score is 1.0. Animal proteins hit that mark. Sprouted legumes score between 0.7 and 0.9. That places them in the same league as meat and eggs for biological value. Unsprouted legumes score significantly lower. The sprouting process breaks complex proteins into simpler forms your digestive system can actually use. Research shows protein bioavailability increases 15 to 30% compared to unsprouted seeds. Here is where the science becomes uncomfortable for anyone selling you processed alternatives. Raw legumes contain compounds called antinutrients. Phytic acid binds to iron, zinc, and calcium, preventing your body from absorbing them. Trypsin inhibitors block protein digestion entirely. These compounds explain why eating raw beans causes digestive distress. Sprouting eliminates them. A study published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology measured phytic acid reduction between 7 and 75% during germination. trypsin inhibitor activity dropped 28 to 55%. The exact compounds that make raw legumes problematic disappeared during those 3 to 5 days in your jar. No cooking required. No heat damage to nutrients. The vitamin transformation defies everything you have been told about where nutrients come from. Dr. Clive McKay and researchers at Yale, the University of Pennsylvania, and McGill University spent years measuring what happens inside a sprouting seed. Vitamin A increases an average of 300%. Vitamin C explodes by 500 to 600%. Dry seeds contain almost no vitamin C. Sprouts burst with it. This is why Captain Cook's sailors survived while others died. Vitamin K increases by a factor of 10 to 25 depending on light exposure. B-complex vitamins double. A food that barely registers nutritionally in its dry state becomes one of the most nutrient-dense substances you can consume. The protein digestibility data makes the case undeniable. Researchers measuring in vitro protein digestibility found increases of 8 to 20% after sprouting cowpeas at 25 degrees Celsius for just 24 hours. Specific varieties jumped from baseline digestibility of 78% to over 90%. The Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that sprouting significantly increased digestibility across multiple legume species. Optimal sprouting occurs between 3 and 5 days at temperatures between 68 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Beyond 5 days, protein content may actually decrease as the growing sprout consumes amino acids for its own development. Now consider efficiency. Sprouts reach harvest in 3 to 7 days. Beef cattle require 18 months to reach slaughter weight. Sprouts need no land. They grow in any container that holds water. No tractors, no pesticides, no supply chains stretching across continents. Water usage amounts to small rinses 2 or 3 times daily. 1 tablespoon of seeds fills an entire quart jar with harvestable protein. The commercial sprouting industry generates $4.63 billion globally. Asia Pacific dominates that market because those cultures never forgot what works. The West abandoned this knowledge. The next section explains exactly why. The International Food Information Council conducted a survey in 2023 that revealed something the food industry would prefer you never see. 44% of Western consumers believe sprouts are unsafe to eat. Only 29% correctly identify their high vitamin and antioxidant content. This is not ignorance. This is manufactured perception. The Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health noted that public health messaging consistently emphasizes avoidance without distinguishing between homegrown sprouts and contaminated commercial batches. Dietitians at the Mayo Clinic reported that fewer than 15% of patients even ask about sprouts during nutritional counseling. Media coverage of historical outbreaks overshadows every advancement in modern safety protocols. The knowledge gap is real, and it benefits specific industries. Greek yogurt dominates refrigerated sections with premium pricing and heavy marketing budgets. Protein powder generates billions annually, selling you processed alternatives to whole foods. Meanwhile, seed companies cannot patent sprouting. Seeds reproduce themselves. No equipment manufacturer sells specialized sprouting machinery. No processing facility stands between you and your jar. Every middleman in the industrial food system loses money when you grow protein at home for pennies. Consider who funded the narratives you absorbed. The FDA documented 46 sprout-related outbreaks between 1996 and 2016. Context matters here. Those outbreaks occurred in commercial operations with improper sanitation protocols. Warm, moist conditions ideal for growing sprouts are also ideal for growing pathogens. This is true. The solution is proper technique, not avoidance. Commercial producers now use pathogen-tested seeds and controlled indoor farming environments. Home sprouting under clean conditions presents a fundamentally different risk profile than industrial batch processing. Yet public perception conflates all sprouts with dangerous raw varieties because nuance does not generate headlines. The rediscovery is already happening without you. Asia Pacific leads the global sprouting systems market at $520 million annually. North America follows at $410 million, growing nearly 7% each year. The Korean food industry maintains supplier relationships spanning decades specifically for sprouted ingredients. Japan's Ministry of Health requires nutritional validation standards exceeding international benchmarks. American corporations like General Mills now invest in sprouted grain product lines. What grandmother knew is becoming what corporations want to sell back to you at premium prices. The knowledge was never lost. It was simply not profitable for you to have it. Until now. Everything you need is probably already in your kitchen. A wide-mouth quart mason jar works perfectly. A half-gallon jar scales up production. For the lid, you have options. Sprouting lids cost $3 to $5 and last for years. Cheesecloth secured with a rubber band works identically. Plastic craft mesh cut to size does the same job for pennies. You need a bowl or dish rack to prop the jar at an angle. You need clean water. Tap water works fine. If your water is heavily chlorinated, let it sit overnight in an open container before using. Finally, you need seeds. Mung beans, lentils, chickpeas, soybeans, broccoli, alfalfa. Buy seeds labeled specifically for sprouting. This ensures no chemical treatments that inhibit germination. Total startup cost falls under $10. Most of that goes towards seeds that will produce dozens of batches. Day 1 requires 5 minutes of effort. Measure your seeds. 2 tablespoons for small seeds like alfalfa or broccoli. 1/4 cup for larger beans like chickpeas or lentils. Place them in your jar. Fill with cool water until seeds are covered by 2 to 3 inches. Cover with your lid or cheesecloth. Let them soak 8 to 12 hours. Overnight works perfectly. Larger seeds like chickpeas may need up to 24 hours. You will know soaking is complete when seeds have doubled in size. Keep the jar at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. Days 2 through 4, establish your rhythm. Each morning, drain the soaking water through your lid or cheesecloth. Rinse with fresh, cool water. Swirl the jar gently. Drain completely. Shake the jar to spread seeds along the inside walls. Place the jar upside down at an angle in your bowl or dish rack. This position allows drainage and airflow. Store in a dark corner of your kitchen. No direct sunlight yet. Repeat the rinse and drain cycle 2 to 3 times daily. Morning, afternoon or evening, before bed. Tiny tails appear within 24 hours. By day 3, sprouts are visibly growing. One critical rule: never let sprouts sit in standing water. Pooled moisture causes mold. Days 5 through 7 bring the harvest. Sprouts are ready when they reach 1 to 3 inches, with small leaves emerging. For leafy varieties like broccoli or alfalfa, move the jar to indirect sunlight for 1 to 2 days. Light activates chlorophyll. Sprouts turn green. Nutrients increase. Final rinse requires a large bowl filled with water. Add your sprouts. Swirl gently. Hulls and unsprouted seeds float to the surface. Skim them off. Drain thoroughly on a clean towel or spin dry in a salad spinner. Storage keeps your harvest fresh. Place sprouts in an airtight container lined with paper towel. Refrigerate immediately. Best consumed within 3 to 5 days. Acceptable up to 7. If sprouts smell off, appear slimy, or show any mold, discard everything and start fresh. Never save questionable batches. Use your harvest in salads, sandwiches, stir-fries, smoothies, soups, grain bowls. Sauté legume sprouts with garlic, ginger, sesame oil, and soy sauce for a meal that costs almost nothing. Start a new jar every 3 to 4 days. Continuous harvest. Perpetual protein. Total independence from the dairy case. 5,000 years of human knowledge compressed into a mason jar. More protein than the dairy case. More bioavailable than the supplements. Ready faster than any crop you could plant in soil. The ancient Chinese physicians knew. The Korean grandmothers knew. Captain Cook knew it well enough to save his crew. Now you know. Every excuse the industrial food system gave you dissolves the moment you watch those first tails emerge from seeds you soaked overnight. The protein was never hard to grow. It was hard to sell you something else while this existed. Your jar is waiting. Your seeds are waiting. 3 days from now, you will harvest what they tried to make you forget. Subscribe so you do not miss what we reveal next.